Welcome to Resume Tips for Older Job Seekers. The tips on this video are meant to go along with our first resume strategy video, which covers the core elements and techniques of building the most effective resume. The number one resume strategy when searching later in your career is to define who you are and determine how you want to be perceived, or branding. Research the position that you want, making a very detailed list of specific requirements for that position. Highlight these skills and keywords, as well as thinking of specific examples of when you've been successful using these skills. Your greatest selling points need to relate to the current position, to your current objective. The skills needed for a new position shouldn't be buried, so don't devote a lot of space and attention in your resume to areas in your background which are no longer relevant. This will only invite questions that you won't want to discuss, as they'll distract from your current position. The second resume tip for older job seekers is to consider listing only relevant positions that you've held in the last 15 to 20 years. For other experience that's relevant but older, consider using a subheading titled Other Professional Experience at the end of your resume. It can list your employer name and position title, as well as a very brief discussion of the function and your highlighted achievements, but leave off the dates. You can also highlight your technology skills to show that you're up to date and ahead of the game. Talk about the technology that you used, as well as that's relevant in your career. You can include training that's been completed or conferences attended, involvement in professional organizations, as further indication that you are a lifelong learner. Because most recruiters will only look at your resume for 6 seconds before determining if they want to read more or if they're going to go on to the next resume, the top 1/3 of your resume is the most critical part on which to focus. So take this portion of your resume to ensure that you're listing your core competencies ahead of your career highlights and accomplishments and professional experiences. This also takes the emphasis off of the chronology and the dating in your resume, and it stacks the keywords up where the recruiter is most likely to see them. The third resume tip for older job seekers when addressing career transitions or shrinking industries and a lack of formal education. Let's start with talking about entrepreneurs or owners of corporations. You can present more of a corporate feel if you title yourself CEO or president rather than owner. When translating your military MOS to the civilian equivalent, consider using a brand new feature by Google where you can enter in the MOS that you served in the Google search bar, and the civilian translation will appear. This will give a recruiter in the civilian world a better understanding of what it was that you accomplished in the military. For those lacking formal education, consider changing the traditional education subheading to something like professional development. And if you come from a shrinking industry, consider focusing on problem solving, profit building, and cost savings for those positions. Lastly, for our bonus tips, remove anything that's outdated from your resume and your interview responses. The very first thing you should do is get rid of the fax number in your contact information. Also, consider getting rid of any passé email accounts that might include Hotmail or AOL email addresses. Lastly, remove all the outdated phrases. These are a couple of big ones. Over 25 years experience, references available upon request, responsible for or duties included, day-to-day operations, out-of-the-box thinker, word processing and Microsoft Office. These are understood that you should know how to use this technology. Words like synergy and robust, and defining terms like goal-oriented and team player. These should be removed from your resume and your interview responses. If you have any other questions regarding your resume strategies, feel free to call or email me for further advice or assistance with one of our revision packages. Thanks so much.